Alright, Adrenaline here. As promised, here is my analysis of AG's gameplay in QR2 of Myth World Cup 2023 versus MiTT. Just kind of look at unit trade strategy, individual performances, not so much, but maybe I'll dabble with them a little bit. Just a few insights to kind of help you in the future and let you know what you did right, what you did wrong. Anyways, let's jump into game one. I want to keep this pretty short. Alright, game one is a broken javelin, capture the flag. Meta here, before I even see unit trades, is generally fast moving units, melee and artillery on the east side of the map. So, mercs, even mauls, like mauls, they're not fast moving per se, but skeletons, whatever. Fast moving melee over here with warlocks and dwarves. Generally on the west side of the map, you're going to have more of a defensive hold, so Solus lining these hills, maybe a Mort up on the hill or here to kind of help range mid, but basically just enough ranged units to stop a push coming through. And your fetch should be in the mid with some artillery, other artillery flanking it, warlocks, morts to kind of help in the fight, and melee. Let's go ahead and take a look at your trade. I think you traded already. Yes, you did. First thing I notice is too many brigands, not enough skeletons. I don't favor brigands on pretty much any map unless you're forced to get them. They're a pretty useless unit. Skeletons they're just better on this map. They're faster, they can submerge in water, they tank fetch shots a lot better. Otherwise, your trade looks pretty good. Lots of mauls, max mercs. I think everything else, just based on your trading points, is what you have to get. You got max mort, so that's good. Speed it up and see what goes where. Oh, I just saw you said Trent left flank, Mir right flank. Probably better to communicate east and west, because it really depends on which way their camera is angled. Two Frogs says going mid. Kron and Frogs mid for now. Okay, so people are going where you tell them to go, I assume.
Game on.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Trent is going left. Mir is going right. Okay, one thing I notice here, from my understanding, Meerkat is a very new player. This is a very complicated unit set, a large unit set for a new player. You got two different kinds of artillery. You've got a ranged unit in Solus and mixed melee. This is a lot of presets for a new player. Probably better to give him, maybe artillery and melee only, or Solus and a Mort, or Solus and melee only. Try to keep it to 2 presets. If he even uses presets, it just makes micro a lot easier. And that is that. You did tell Two Frogs to go mid. He's got these Solus. He should have been going up here. Anyways, maybe he'll move there eventually, but yeah, take the high ground. Right away, like I mentioned, meta is usually fast moving melee and artillery on the east side of the map. You guys do not have that, so this is just going to be a passive hold. I don't like that because that's going to be able to be pushed pretty easily by pretty much anything. Otherwise, Trent's got a good set to defend up here. Even without the Solus, I'm sure the Solus will make their way up here eventually, but should be able to keep some stuff at range with that fairly well. Not sure where Vigor is going here. He should be straight to the front, right here. I really don't know where he's going at this point. You should have probably said something. I don't know if you guys are communicating on Discord. It didn't really look like it based on their based on your chat. So yeah, maybe get on Discord. A little more communication. So yeah, Vigor, you can't be in these trees, man. This is a pathfinding nightmare. You get into this part of the map, you are susceptible to 2 sides of attack. You should be here. So first mistake, very out of position with those fetch. Looks like Trent's doing the right thing, kind of getting up on this corner with a Mort. Speed it up a little bit. First mistake here, you grab all 3 fetch to block that shot. One at a time, man. You click 1 fetch, block that shot, then you don't have to reset. Looks like you're about to eat this one. And now eat this one because you did the same thing. And that's basically game over. So 1 fetch at a time, target those lock balls. And yeah, Paris is just he's gonna wreck at this point. He's got nothing really stopping him. Yeah, he just cleaned up 2 artillery there. He's got free range to do all the damage he wants. He's probably gonna have a pretty big game, I'd imagine. It is 1, exactly. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this. One thing I'd suggest, just a quick note from MiTT, if you're going to be dancing around with your artillery out front, you got to get a little bit of melee out front that you can dodge in and out to block shots, especially when facing warlocks. Not much else to be said. I mean, this game is essentially over at this point. There's not much you guys are going to be able to do with these fetch having free reign. Maybe 2 frogs can get a couple kills with the Solus. Good shot from Trent up there. Should have the Mort right up here, to be honest. Good shot from this Warlock, I'm not sure it was. Garnish, he tried to do the right thing, getting out and blocking that. Unfortunately he missed, but that was a good move. Just didn't execute it properly, but you know, it's a thought that counts. It was a good move. I'm just going to speed this up, get this over with. I don't want this video to be too long. This game is over. I can see already too much to begin with on defense. You know, a couple mauls, 3 mauls would have been fine. Everything else should have been up helping. Not that it would make much of a difference at this point. And game over. Alright, yep. Big damage repairs as expected there. Looks like everybody did pretty well on MiTT, but I mean, as soon as those fetch are gone, you got really nothing to stop the pressure, so it is what it is. Looks like Trent got some pretty good damage up on his hill here. Kind of wasted damage, to be honest. Like, you know, sure it helped a little bit. It didn't really help towards the objective. It's kind of too little too late. I think Trent's probably one of your better players, so I would have put him over on this side with artillery and melee with maybe Kronjak, MiTT in a defensive stance up on this hill. Probably could have done some pretty good work. Looks like he got some decent damage otherwise. Like, he might have got a lock shot or a Mort shot off at one point, or maybe it was his Solus. Not a lot of kills, but it looks like he softened some units up anyways. 2 frogs had the other Solus. He only got 2 kills, but I think they were fetch, so good job for him, but a little out of position. Should have been up on this hill most of the game and just kind of dodging back and forth in and out this way to avoid lock shots. The real deciding factor, though, is these fetch were very out of position. Should have been in the middle. Garnish as captain. That's kind of your job to direct the players that way, but I mean, they should know better as well. Anyways, that's game 1. Let's move on to game 2. Alright, just revisiting this one quick. I just thought of something I should have mentioned. A little side note here. As soon as these fetch are dead, you basically got to make the call to back up a little, take all these mauls and basically all this melee here, spread them out in long staggered lines and push. I wouldn't say it's a win condition at this point, but really the only thing that you can do effectively to maybe push this back and have a chance is to kill these fetch. So you spread out in a long staggered line here, lead with your mauls, come in with your mercs, and target these fetch. And then maybe you can push into this and do some damage with your warlock and remaining artillery. Just wanted to mention that. Anyways, back to, I guess game 2 is next. Alright, game 2 is Myopia Dark. Is this Dark? Myopia Dark? I believe so. King of the map. So, quick overview of the map. Meta here is generally heavier flanks. A lot of teams will do a jugger flank on one side of the map. Usually, let's say usually the east side of the map. I think it's a little more open. So you know, Tro, all fetch, a mort up on the high ground or two. Um, smaller token flank on this side, but you can play it either way. You can split tro and do kind of even flanks. But generally mid is left just to taggers. There's only one flag mid, so just a small tagging group is good to dart in and out to maintain presence on that flag. But yeah, you want to be off to the flanks mostly because there's 1, 2, 3 flags on each side to contend. Corners, you normally just send a tagger. You don't really need much for defense on that. You should be able to stop anything from getting through if you got heavy flanks. Looks like you've traded already. No, you haven't. Yeah, you have. Have you? Yes, you have. So right away, yeah, far too many Solus. Not enough melee. You didn't max Zerks or Stigs. Those are very important units on this. You did max Fetch, which is good. I don't think you maxed Morts. I don't think you need to max Morts, but more than 3 is probably ideal. I would say 4 minimum. It's a lot of spiders. Spiders can be good. They're very mobile. They can get around and tag, but they can't really do much against the melee in particular on this map. If it was warriors, yeah, they could get in and do some damage, but they get absolutely eaten alive by Stigs and Zerks. So maybe a little heavy on the Solus and spiders. We're going to see how this plays out. Why can't I zoom out more? I thought that was a new feature that you can fully zoom as a spectator. Anyways, whoops. Okay, so right away, I see a heavy mid presence. That's not what you want to do. Should be splitting again to the flanks, and with this many Solus, I'd say your idea here would be artillery and tro on the flanks with melee, and then taking these sides with Solus. They can aid taking shots at the enemy fetch and tro and whatnot, but it looks like you're really focusing on this one flag mid, which is a big mistake. This terrain is not fetch friendly. You gotta move around a lot. You can't really get to and from very fast because you gotta pathfind around the stuff. You get into choke points. Not a good place to be. We can make this smaller. And it looks like they're adapting to try to face you here, but they've already got full control of the sides, as you can see. Very out of position here for Vigor. Vigor again. Okay, so maybe fetch are not his strong point. He's not going to be able to stop these tro. Interesting little bit of magic dirt there, but yeah, 2 fetch gone for free. Not good. I would say 2 frogs a little out of position here, but doesn't look like he's going to take too much damage. He'll be able to get out of there just fine. This is not going to be able to do much versus what we got coming in here, especially with the Mort. Can get a lot of range on that. So yeah, Trent's going to fall back. Kronjak way overextended here. He's got 5 enemies fetch facing down his. He's just going to have to hightail this. Honestly, shouldn't even be taking that shot. Just keep running backwards. Yeah, outnumbered already. The game's already decided. Fetch. Huge fetch disparity. Not sure what Paris is doing here. He looks like he's AFK. He should probably be pressuring this side. You got Meerkat again. Seems to like doing this, just grabbing hills and holding defensively, but like this is a lot of wasted units sitting around. You got a Mort here and a bunch of melee that should be up pressuring for these flank flags. This one in particular, he could be tagging that right now. As captain, you got to be able to kind of take a bird's eye view and direct your players a little better. He's coming towards mid with this stuff now. Maybe too little too late, but hopefully he can get a couple shots off. Really, there's not much else to say about this map. Wasn't a huge fan of the trade. It can work in certain situations, but the way you kind of spread around the map is not really ideal for the units that you had. And again, you just kind of should be adopting the meta. A lot of tournament games have been played on this map. Take a look through GOS, find a couple, see how other players play it, and try to build from there. So we're just going to speed this up and get on to game 3, I guess. Yeah, game over. Meerkat was able to do some decent damage there. I'm not really sure how. I guess they kind of pushed into him and lost a few, maybe up in this corner. But yeah, he was the heavy hitter for you this game. Even though he wasn't really doing much towards the game type. I guess he just got some damage somewhere. Trent with his Solus group over here did something. Nothing fancy with the ratios, but got some kills. Kronjak, don't remember what he had. Fetch, I believe he had fetch. Honestly, Kronjak was kind of put in the crux there just because Vigor lost his fetch early, so Kronjak was pretty outnumbered right away. And again, out of position mid. You should never be in mid with fetch. It should always be on the flanks, at least to start. Vigor, that's 2 games in a row where he's done quite poorly with fetch, so maybe fetch are just not his strong suit. You gotta learn your players. You got a couple of matches under your belt now, so I would say Vigor is maybe better suited to some other kind of artillery. Maybe he'd be better with Solus. Maybe he can throw. I don't know. But fetch don't seem to be a strong suit. Anyways, not much else to say about this one. Let's move on to game 3. Alright, game 3, we got, I'm not even going to try to say the name, Foz Territories. Fozgarach Rulik. I don't know. Meta on this map is generally Bowman, Thrall, Pus, and a few dwarves mid. And then melee packs, war pack with Pus on the flanks. And it is territories, so you really only have to hold 1 flag and you can go around doing damage and then collect the rest later. So playing for flags right away it's always good to get flags, but it's not the be all end all in this. It's not flag rally, it's not king of the map. So anyways, right away I can see you've already traded. Doesn't look like you're doing war packs. You've got 2 frogs here with a group of wars and a dwarf. Not a huge fan. Okay, you gave the dwarf to somebody else. But yeah, generally on this map in particular, Thrall with bows, and then free up the wars for war packs. So you got Jawrawl with wars and a dwarf. Probably got some pus somewhere. Yeah, there's a pus. Vigor has got a lot of wars. Like, that is the size of a generous war pack right there, but it looks like he also has bows and a dwarf. I don't know, that might have been a misclick. Maybe you're going to reallocate some of those units somewhere else. Overall, like, the trade is good. I'm fine with this trade. Just the way you are giving out the units that is a little questionable. Let's see how you approach this map. Okay, we'll leave it at double for now. Somebody drew on a map. I assume that was you giving directions to Kronjak and Vigor going that way. And right away you can see MiTT is doing exactly what I said. We got Shad on a warpack heading south. Looks like HMP's got a warpack kind of heading northwest, kind of supporting mid, and then LSO with the warpack heading that way. Okay, so like this is good. This is the kind of unit set you want going mid. It looks like you have too few bowmen though, because you are committing some to the flanks. So you're probably going to be outnumbered middle. This kind of unit set, that's a strong unit set, but that's not going to be able to stop 2 war packs, unfortunately. I'd say same on this side. Like, if Jawrawl gets some really good dwarf shots, you are able to, not you, but 2 frogs is able to pick off some of this pus with his bows or counter pus. Well, there is a chance, but well, I don't think actually Shad can do a heck of a lot unless he's got some miraculous pussing here, because he doesn't have a huge advantage with war numbers, but he's able to just kind of occupy all this percentage with just a smaller group. That kind of takes all of this out of the fight. At this point, I would like to see maybe more than jaw rally. Maybe like this group right here, pushing down here, and then you want two frogs probably heading back up this direction to help in mid because they are outnumbered. And a crown jack here. Yeah, this is all about to get surrounded by a lot of pus, a lot of warriors. Looks like LSO is probably going to flank him on this side, or maybe come across and around the back. But yeah, that is doomed. I wouldn't say this is doomed. I think, yeah, I think Shad's just going to kind of play with this unit group, kind of dance in and out, back out, and just kind of keep these guys out of the fight while mid does its work and north does its work. And I expect that's probably the way it's going to play out. No, we'll speed it up. I want to keep this video short. And like I expected, LSO is going to flank around behind. HMP just distracting for now. Mid is losing because, again, outnumbered. And this flank not able to do much because Shad is just toying with it. You know, keeping all that, all those units distracted. Pretty decent pus, but he's not going to be able to kill that dwarf, so maybe a little wasted, but good damage. Did this flank die already? Yeah, it looks like it died already. And this game's over. I mean, played out like I said it would. Mid got pushed because they're outnumbered. This flank got surrounded, and this flank's not able to do much at all. So, game over. I expect you guys get 6 flagged right away, and boom. Okay, looking at the stats, not much to say. I don't think anybody was really set up to succeed, particularly in this game. I believe Trent was on that flank up here. You know, yeah, nobody really has good numbers. I mean, it wasn't very close, you know, 67% to 0. Jarral not able to do anything on the flank with his group. Not surprising with the numbers they had. He was versus a lot more pus. I think he could have been better grouped with another melee pack, and maybe they could have done something there. Vigor, was he mid with bows, I believe? Two frogs was on the flank. Meerkat must have been mid because I think Trent and Kronjak were north. They did the most with their flank. They probably had the most to do with, but again, they were kind of doomed when they were being surrounded by a lot of wars and a lot of pus. So trade was fine, execution a little lacking. Again, this takes me back to just adopting the meta. You know, take a look at other maps or other games, other teams, see how they play this map, and kind of go from there. Generally, the meta on almost any 3-prong map is going to be artillery mid. Any light map anyway is going to be artillery mid and faster moving melee packs on the flanks. So something to keep in mind for your next match. Let's move on to game 4. I think game 4 next. Yeah. Alright, game 4. We got Desert Ruins. Flag rally? Yeah, flag rally. Again, just to speak to meta here, generally you want to take control of mid with forest giants, some melee, some mortars. Get that flag and, you know, often try to hold it, make your push to the other side. And then usually if you're on this side of the map, you want a pretty heavy force south. On this side, I'd say probably more north. And then you get your taggers down here. Maybe send a forest giant right away. To the south is another idea, but I'd start them off mid and then branch out south to get this flag secured. And this will be probably your home flag. Well, this will be your home flag, but it takes them a while to get to this, so you probably want to hold these two at minimum. And, you know, pretty important to hold these 3. That should be your part of the map. Anyways, we're going to take a look at your trade quick. If you've already traded. You have maybe a little heavy on the Solus here. You know, souls can work on this map if they're stationed here on this mid hill, they can really help out with a push. If they can get onto these hills, they can help somewhat with a push, but maybe not ideal. This is really where you want your Solus. You have split your FG, which is fine. Otherwise, trade looks okay. I would have definitely gotten more mortars here. Looks like you maxed Cirques, which is fine. You got a lot of Gauls here, but that's also fine. Maybe you're planning on popping some Moist to get some small pus, which would be a good idea. You've got 2 free pus here. You got Jaw Roll and Vigor on the Forest Giants. Doesn't look like either of them have a Gaul though, so that's mistake number 1 here. Is your Forest Giants should always have a pus with them, but you don't. Got Jaw Roll going straight for that flag. Vigor going straight for that flag. Okay. Jaw Roll does not get the tag. Okay, big faux pas here. You are giving up mid for free. Like, this is your part of the map. You should not be giving up ground like this. Yeah, they got free reign to walk in. You've got no Solus on the hill. Nothing here to really stop this push. Jaw Roll. I just don't know where he's going. He's not going to be able to get to this flag in time. He's about to eat some damage. Yeah, he's giving up free damage there. He's not going to be able to do anything against this, especially with Paris coming in behind him. So that was a big mistake. We're just going to watch this for a sec. Taking a couple more shots there. Like, he's down to half health here, and he's done absolutely nothing with that. He doesn't have pus of his own, so he's not able to engage with Paris here at all. He's just kind of get trapped here and do nothing, unfortunately. Is that how it goes? Trent, if you could have pussed the FG, that would have been good, but yeah, Jarrell just died without doing a damn thing. That's unfortunate. Okay, I see you're sinking a white here, but that's not going to do much. They've already got this flag. They have no reason to cross here anymore. Yeah, Meerkat defending here, as he likes to do. You got a pretty good push coming in north here, but I don't think you're going to be able to do much against that. Where's your other FG? Okay, that's Vigor there. That's fine, but he can't get in here. You know, HMP's got a pus, and you always got to be wary of Gauls, even if they're pusless. You don't know that. So, FG are a tricky unit here. They really need their own pus to kind of help with them, help with their pushes and whatnot. There's not much else to say about this. I mean, the big mistake was giving up that middle right away, letting them cross to your side of the map, and I think this is just a matter of time before it's game over. And obviously, Jarrell just giving up a Forest Giant right away for free, not going to help your cause. You don't really have enough up here to make a push. You got some coming in here, but see, now's the time. You got to go in. Losing a Gaul, it wasn't a pus. Yeah, this is doing nothing. Vigor. This is another big mistake. Vigor should just have a Forest Giant and a pus. This should be another player here. Looks like he's just kind of sitting here doing nothing, so this is kind of wasted resources again. He's not going to be able to do much against this at all now. Maybe you guys can try to collapse on this, make a bit of a stand, but doesn't look like it. Okay, good pus, but wasn't able to follow that up. If Vigor could have got a bit of a surround on that Forest Giant, that would have been great. You had it fully frozen and did very little damage to it. Unfortunate, that should have been a dead Forest Giant. Got the flag though, which is good. At this point, you're down. Oh, geez. Yeah, you got to get away from that pus and maybe head on to this flag and go for the tag. Got it anyways, somehow. Okay. You guys got victory imminent. I mean, good job getting that. You're down to 37% though to 80, so yikes. It looks like flag 4 is the last one you need. At this point, you shouldn't be going for the last flag. Well, I mean, you kind of have to. You don't have the units to hold. So what's flag 4? 5, 4. Yeah. You don't have anything down here to push this flag, so maybe turtle up on your last flag. You should just be telling your team, everybody get to flag 8 and hold it. Because you're going to lose that right away. You don't have enough units to hold it anyways, so not much else to be said. Yeah, this game is over. Good job killing that, but this should just be moving as fast as they can towards the last flag you need. I don't think that's going to happen before you lose your last flag. It's probably game over right here, and yeah. So good job getting to victory imminent, even though you were down quite a bit. You ended up, I mean, you guys made a pretty good account of yourself considering Jarral just literally gave an FG away. He didn't do a single bit of damage there. So that was interesting. Big mistake was giving up mid completely, letting them cross. That was kind of the first thing that really got the snowball going for them. There's really not much else to say. Unit trade was fine. The way you gave out the units, distribution was not ideal. Vigor never should have had that large of a force. You know, just a single FG with a pus for your gianters is enough. That's the key thing. FG should have that pus with them. This is going on too long already. There's not much else to say about this. Let's move on to game 5. Alright, game 5. We've got Beckoning Wilds. I don't know, light, I guess? Is it light? Flag Rally. Meta on this one is generally you stack your open side, which is always going to be east on this one, so a lot of fast melee, Stigs and Wars, Dwarves, Pus, and you want to be pushing Hya and mid, and then maybe have more of a token force holding this flag and trying to get through. Not a huge fan of too many bowmen on this map, but you should definitely have some because they can pick dwarves and pus and warriors. It looks like you got none at all, which yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think that's too many ghasts. Too many ghasts and maybe too many dwarves. You know, maybe one less dwarf here, 2 less dwarves would probably be good in favor of some bows. Looks like you got max Stigs. I don't think you got max wars here. Maybe you did. No, it doesn't look like you did. So yeah, max melee on this map with 10, maybe 10 bows, 10 to 12 bows, a couple less dwarves, less ghasts. You know, a few ghasts to hold the home flags just in case some warriors get through are okay, but you're not going to be able to push anything with these, unfortunately. Yeah, I definitely like MiTT's trade better. They got, looks like 12 bows, which is about the max I would get, but it's good. Only 2 dwarves. Definitely workable. I'm sure they're going to make it work, but they did get max fast melee, which is key and pus. So good trade by them. Kind of lackluster trade by you, unfortunately. See how it plays out. Whoops. Looks like they're going for 3-prong. And looks like you are also going 3-prong. We've got Trent and Kronjak heading towards the west. I think they're probably 2 of your better players, Trent and Kronjak. I like that you're keeping them together, but they should probably be the guys going more aggressive this side. Looks like you got Vigor and 2 frogs heading this side. This is not enough for this flank. Yeah, definitely not enough for this flank. Looks like you got flag 1 right away. That's good. At this point, as soon as these gas catch up, you should just be pushing this mid as hard as you can. Doesn't look like you're doing that. You're falling back, and honestly, you should be facing more here. Like, picture this as desert where the river is kind of linear across. You would line up here on desert, right? You should be doing the same here. If you're on this side, you can't really push as easy because you can only get most of your units through right here. Can't get through the dark or deep water except with the ghasts. So yeah, line up kind of according to how the map's laid out. Not really going to be able to push this. You got a lot of pus, some bows and stuff. I mean, you should be trying. You should be getting in there counter pussing. If you can kill their pus, you know, effective counter pus, maybe get their dwarf, you should be able to push in there. This has got to be pushing this already. It's kind of too late now that their north has advanced a lot. You had 2 players here against 1. I'd say you kind of got superior numbers. This does need to push. I mean, counter pussing, it looks like you had 1 dud there, which is unfortunate. And is he going to be able to get in here? That was a good shot. Unfortunately, didn't get that kill. If you got that kill, I'd say that's free reign to push. You plus these 2, you move in, and LSO probably wouldn't be able to do much against those 2 dwarves. I don't like that they're just sitting here holding this flag for now. I think right away they should have been moving in on this. Is LSO going to push now? No, he's still not pushing. Okay, if he would have killed that, I think he would have pushed. Looks like you guys are getting pushed back here and pushed back here. These 2 groups are going to be able to kind of coalesce, and there's nothing you can do to stop them with that many bows, and you just don't have the melee numbers here, the stigs, to really push this many bows. There's not much else to say about this map, to be honest. You got too much on defense here. Looks like you still have 2 unhealed whites for some reason. Did you not have enough galls? Or no, these are still sitting here pusless. It's interesting. That should have been done at the beginning of the game. This dwarf, these stigs, and these wars should have been up helping with that mid. You guys probably had enough to push mid right away. So that has been kind of a common theme. You guys just aren't aggressive enough to really win the game types, you know. Like, you got to be aggressive on maps like Flag Rally. It's the only way to win. You can't turtle. You just end up giving flags and kind of dying a slow death. You got to be aggressive, even if you don't have as good of players. It's kind of your only chance, you know. You catch the other team off guard, maybe you're able to push, snag some flags, and it's kind of your that's your win condition right there. But it looks like you're just falling back, turtling, and slowly giving up the flags, and just kind of, like I said, dying a slow death. And to speed it up, there's not much else to say about this. We'll watch this flank for a second because this side is already dead. Yep, already dead. Even with this, now that the dwarves are dead, you probably still have the numbers. Okay, no pus left. But you still have decent numbers to engage this. One other thing I'd say is you seem to give single unit groups or melee groups to certain players. Like, these should always be mixed groups, like a few wars, a few stigs to one player, a few wars, a few stigs to another player. It makes it harder to micro against as or for the enemy. Just a little more effective. Something to keep in mind. This should still be able to win, but I suspect it probably won't. Well, no, he's definitely not going to win now. Should have engaged right away. He's going to be able to make this down. This is a good little trick by LSO. He's leading that group away from this fight and targeting single units here, so he's cleaning this up pretty effectively. I would say that is that. Yeah, those ghasts just kind of walked around, did nothing. They got to get in towards the warriors to stun them. It's the end of the game, though. Not even close, that one. 79% to 0. Just lack of aggression. Like I said, really your only chance was to push that mid sooner, get the units that you had back on D into mid sooner before this north flank came down. This west flank was really the only flank that had enough numbers to maybe push this. Maybe one of them should have tried to get across this flank so you could hit them from 2 sides, but they just kind of held that flag. Again, no aggression. Unit trade, not ideal. Yeah, I mean, the game was kind of lost at the unit trade. Unfortunately, they had a great trade to counter yours. Unit trade and execution. Not much else to say about that one. Anyways, that's my analysis. That's all 5 games. Gonna end it there. Keep it short. Just some things to keep in mind for next match. Again, take a look at the meta. Download old games. Watch what other other captains do, how they give out their units, where they send them. A little more aggression, know your players, know who excels with which units. Looks like to me that Trent and Kronjak, at least in this match, are probably your best two players. So maybe give them some heavier duties. Meerkat seems to be more of a defensive player. He likes to kind of sit on a hill. So put him in more of a defensive stance where he can excel. I would say Vigor should probably not be fetching based on the two fetch maps. Maybe he's better with another kind of unit. I would say Jaral should mostly be doing your tro work. Maybe not FG based on that one map. Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. But I know he prefers giant units. So, yep, play to your players, play to your strengths, their strengths, and adopt the meta. Not much else to say about that. Good luck in your next match. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing your match against the Juggernauts. I think that could be a little closer. You could probably take a game or two, and if you do things right, maybe even win the match. Who knows? Anyways, good luck, and catch you next time.